Hey everybody, this is Phil Goldenberg. So I'm here, I'm trying a new thing today for my YouTube channel. This is going to be a part of a series called Today I Learned. So I got the idea from watching skate videos where specifically people on the Braille channel would try a new trick they had never learned before on camera, and they would show their process, and I thought, hey, that'd be really cool for people learning how to play things on guitar as well. So I've picked a piece that I've never played before. Then this is my first time playing it. For real, I've never looked at it before. Although I know it, this is going to be the main section from Villa-Lobos Etude number 12. So this is a very familiar piece for a lot of classical guitarists, and it's pretty tricky. So I'm looking forward to digging into it. So here's my first read through. Okay, this is going to be pretty hard to read. One, two, three, three. That's weird. I don't usually hear that F at the end, the F natural at the end of this measure. So it has this A minor shape that you're moving around, right? I'm counting something wrong. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I don't really hear that. Usually in most recordings I don't hear that F natural. It's kind of interesting. And then we switch to 6/8. So the rhythm seems to be pretty tricky in this. The rhythm's going to screw me up here. Right? I'm guessing there. Yeah. Then we double down. It's in 2/4 now. Oh boy. Okay, so that's a big chunk. So I've tried to read through it straight through, and it's not working, so I need to break this down into smaller sections. So the first thing I'm going to do is just this 9/8 part, which is the first 2 bars. Playing the second note of a tie like a real chump. That F at the end is so crazy. Okay, I can kind of do that, so now I'm going to move on to the 6/8 bars. 2 6/8 bars right after. Easy. So I'm going to do that a couple of times. Nope, not so easy. So what's happening to me here is you have to do this sort of backwards fingering so that you can get that F natural at the end of the line, so that your ring finger can shift up like that. So what's happening here is that since I'm shifting this thing all around, the shape is getting messed up. So like I can't really, or I can, I just am being lazy. See, like here, I've got, instead of having 2 on the 1 on the 4th fret and 2 on the 5th fret, I have 2 on the 4th fret and 1 on the 5th fret. So the shape's not right. It's this chord instead of this chord. So that's what I got to be watching out for. There it's happening again. So now I'm ready to try this 2/4. So the 2/4 is interesting because it's very, very similar melodically and motivically to the stuff that we're doing, but now it's faster. So now I'm going to think about the rhythm here. So if I'm doing do da da dee da do da da dee da do da dee da 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 dee da 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 dee da 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 dee da 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 dee da. It's going to be that little 2 against 3 shift that we have to do. So let me get used to doing that now. So I'm going to go really slow so that I have a chance of landing this. Da 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 dee da 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 da. Okay, that's close. Okay. So what I'm doing right now is wasting time. So if you see that happening in your practice, you want to cut that right out. Because what are you doing? You're playing from the beginning. You don't have a clear goal. You're not accomplishing anything. I fall into this trap all the time. I know all my students fall into this trap all the time. I think most people fall into this trap. But you gotta pull yourself out of it, create goals for yourself, become more focused. So I'm gonna focus right now, and I'm going to get this 2/4 section, which I'm starting to mentally get a grasp on, but my fingers are still screwing up. Especially getting this A minor shape above the body is really, really hard. So let me try to figure that out. So I'm gonna start from the beginning of the 2/4. That's an A sharp there on the top, Phil, and you're not playing an A sharp, you're playing an A natural. Really? So wait, just the chords here are... No. That's actually not too bad. Sometimes what you do is you take the rhythm out of these things, you take some of the repetitions out of this thing, and then it helps you understand it a little bit better. So for right now, I'm just seeing the relationship between all these chords, the distance that my hand needs to move. No, I'm doing those like triplets. See, I told you right in the beginning, the rhythm is going to be what's going to kill me here. Villa-Lobos is one of those composers. Villa-Lobos and Barrios, I feel like, are two composers that you have to memorize. You can't be looking at a piece of music while you're doing this because it's all just shifting everywhere, all kinds of shifts all over the place. So what I'm trying to do is memorize it, and it's not getting memorized so quickly. A trick for reading chords like this is don't look at the whole chord. If you look at the whole chord every time, you're going to drive yourself crazy. So you know from either playing other Villa-Lobos pieces or from watching somebody play it on YouTube with watching their hands a little bit, you know this is the same chord shape over and over and over and over and over again. That you're just shifting this thing around. So for pieces like that, for situations like that where you're just shifting a chord around, don't look at the whole chord. Just look at either the top note or the bottom note. For me, I always look at the top note. Top note gives me way more information than looking at the bottom note. And is way easier to read than looking at the whole chord. So that's what I'm doing here. Is I'm instead of saying, "Oh, this is a whatever," you know, an F minor, you know, an F minor chord or an F sharp minor chord or whatever. I'm just looking at the top note and saying like, "Oh, that melody note is an A sharp," because I know I'm just moving the same shape over and over and over again. Okay, so I think I'm getting the hang of this 2/4 part. Spoke too soon. So, what that means for me is now I'm going to start somewhere else and do some other thing. Work on something else now. So what is that other thing going to be? Sometimes what I'll like to do here is I'll go back, make sure I didn't forget anything from the beginning. So like I'll start at the beginning of the piece and work as far as I can get. But I think that is a lot of times kind of a trap that you fall into. Like you shouldn't be doing that because it doesn't really accomplish anything. So I think I'm not going to do that this time. I think I'm going to start from the 9/8, which was that part with the cool rhythm. So here we go. No. No. See, the other thing I'm doing here is I'm adding a bunch of bass notes. So when you're learning a piece, the last thing that you want to do is add notes or play wrong notes or memorize wrong notes because you're never going to be able to get rid of them. They are so sticky. They're like the stickiest things. I want to really finish this page. I want to really get this page, and then at the end of this video I'm going to be able to play this whole page at a nice slow tempo. Here we go. So I'm really starting to lose steam here. I've been running this video for about 22 minutes, and I'm starting to lose some steam, lose some focus. So that's a time when I'll start to play from the beginning because I'm trying to get my train of thought back. So it's sort of like a treat for myself to go back and play some stuff that I already know. I'm throwing these bass notes in because I'm an idiot. Oh, and there's somebody at the door. Alright, back to it. I had gotten pretty far. I was pretty happy with my retention. Sometimes you work through a whole page and it's nothing. It doesn't look like anything. So I'm actually pretty close. I've got 2 lines left. So now I'm going to just try to finish those 2 lines. So a lot of times running something from the beginning really does help. It really does actually help you with something like that. So now I'm running it from I ran it from the beginning to as far as I could get, and most of it was actually pretty well retained. So now I'm going to do the last 2 lines here and try to get those, and then I'm going to give a rousing performance here. B flat. I'm also learning something wrong. Never learn something wrong, you idiot. This is cool because because it's a, I guess it's a cross rhythm? I don't know. It's either a cross rhythm or a hemiola. If you know the difference, then put it in the comments below. Let me know if I'm stupid. I think it's a cross rhythm. Because it's triplets, but the phrasing is 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. So you are getting this thing that's going across bars. Kind of interesting. Okay, so I just took a little break because I had a UPS delivery come, which is a wide-angle lens, which I'll probably be using in future videos. So that's going to affect this process significantly. So I'd be willing to bet that my retention of this first page is not nearly as good as it was 10 minutes ago before that guy came. So let's check it out. A bass note. Don't do that. Yeah, not good. Do you do it at the top? No. That's where I'm going to stop. Okay, so yeah, anytime you have a little interruption like that, it's actually both good and bad. Because one, it's bad because all that stuff that you had stored in your short-term memory is going to get wiped. Because I got this lens in the mail, I started messing around with it and stuff. So is this camera not level right now? Well, this whole video may or may not be a little bit tilted. You guys are going to have to deal with that. I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do now. So yeah, when you start to get distracted like that, there's nothing you can do about it. You're going to get distracted eventually. It's good because it's going to get rid of all that short-term memory, which is frustrating, but it leaves you with what is really going to remain day after day. So sometimes you need to re-input all that stuff into your short-term memory, and it's good because that stuff will stick. That's why a lot of people suggest practicing in really small chunks. And I know that I really do that because when you start practicing in small chunks and then take breaks and alternate and come back to them, then you put stuff in your short-term memory. Some of it goes to your long-term memory. The rest of it gets wiped. You do something else. You come back. Whatever's in your long-term memory is still there. Put more stuff into your short-term memory. Some of it trickles down. Some of it doesn't. All right, let me get back into this. I'm gonna do this now from the beginning to the end, and I'm gonna end this video when I can do the whole thing pretty clean. You see, I didn't have the right fingering there. You gotta be ready to start when you want to start. That was pretty good all the way up to the end, so I know what I need to practice now. That F double sharp to the E is weird. What are you gonna do? So most of what I had to do there was just remember where the chords were. I had to basically memorize it. Alright, I'm gonna take one more shot at doing just that last line, and then I'm gonna try to land it again, the whole page. Alright, I'm gonna try this whole thing again. It's got to be relatively clean. I'm okay if it's a little sketchy because I'm not actually learning this piece, but it's going to be pretty good. Rhythm. I'm doing triplets there. Why am I doing triplets? It's like my first day. Ah, I'm doing triplets again. Ah, damn it. That one felt so good. Alright. I can do this. Alright, that was sketchy, but that's as good as I can get in a reasonable amount of time. Okay, so if I was really playing this piece, what I would probably do now is I would run that whole section a whole bunch of times. Like a whole bunch of times, and really see what is a persistent problem and what's just a problem with inconsistency. Because sometimes you'll be playing and it'll just be some weird thing where you forget or something distracts you, and those don't matter. Those don't really count. The ones that really count are like, oh, I keep messing this up. I keep messing this up. And then you would go back in, zoom in, do that section again. For me, personally, what I would do here is I would not learn any more than this in a day. This is like a whole day's worth of work on this piece. So I would take this section, shine it up real nice, and start doing like, you know, the UPS guy came before, so that broke up my practice. I would start doing this way more broken up, so that I know that at any point in the day, I can just pick up my guitar and play this whole section. So that's how I would really go about doing this. Okay, great, so this is a new thing for me, so if you have any suggestions on how I could do this better, or anything that would make this kind of show more interesting, please let me know in the comments. And yeah, if you have any suggestions for what you want me to learn, please let me know. I'm open to learning anything. Little sections of pieces, whole pieces that you're working on, if they're short. I'm looking to basically do about a page of something a day, or a page of something per episode here. So if you have any suggestions for something cool, let me know. Otherwise, I'm just going to be doing standards from the classical guitar thing. And I'll learn solos, I'll learn whatever you want me to do. Okay, cool. So that was Today I Learned, and today I learned Etude 12 by Villa-Lobos. So once again, I'm Phil Goldenberg, signing off.